drill bits. I want to make a hole in a piece of metal. Hold on. I want to make a hole there. All right. Now, what do? What do I use? How do I do that? The most simple and well-known answer is using a drill bit. This is a metal cutting drill bit. It is called a twist drill. You can see it has that twist in it. It's an easy way to remember it. It's a twist drill. Let's get this set up. Wonderful. Twist drill, there's a few main parts to it. First is the point. That point is at the dead center of the drill bit. All right? Drill bits cut a certain hole at a certain diameter, but it needs to spin around that center point. All right? So you want that point to be in the dead center. Eventually these dull, and you would have to sharpen it, especially if it's a good one. If it's a cheap one, you can throw it away, but if not, you want to sharpen it. All right? And you always want to keep that point in the dead center. All right? Another part of it is the flutes. These flutes run up the entire length, and it's not something you go, nope, not like that. It's not a musical flute. These flutes run from the tip all the way up to the back, all right? And these flutes do a few different things. First, when you're cutting metal with metal, there's going to be a lot of friction and a lot of heat. You want to keep this tip cool to cut a clean hole and to keep the bit sharp, so it allows any fluid, cutting fluid like oil, to run down to the tip and keep that cool. Also, it allows the chips, if you're cutting through metal, it allows those chips to move out. It gives them a way out. If you're going to drill into aluminum on the lathe, so this stays still and the work rotates around the end, those chips need a path out so they can move around through the flutes and get out. All right, so there's the tip and there's the flute. This is the shank on the back. In this case, it has an adapter, so you can just put that into a drill or a quick connect. That's not always the case. This one, for instance, has a round shank. All right. These are both for metalworking. They're both made of steel. This might be more of a carbon steel. This one is a high-speed steel, which means that it can hold its sharpness longer, and it can it's just a better, higher quality bit. I know that because on there it says HSS, high speed steel. It also says the size. We're going to talk about the size a different day. So these are both metalworking drill bits. There's also something called reamers, which are in your book. Those are more precise, and they bring a drilled hole up to an exact size. We can also compare these metalworking drill bits to woodworking drill bits. The main difference is the tip. When you're drilling into wood, wood is very soft compared to metal, so it's okay. This is going to grab hold of it and cut into the wood, no problem with that tip. If you were to try to do that with the metalworking drill bit, if you were to try to have this tip on a metalworking drill bit, it would grab hold of the metal, it would twist it, might break because that's a very aggressive slope. It might break, and it also might flip the metal around and could injure the operator. On metalworking drill bits, you see that angle. No matter the size, that angle's pretty close. It's all going to be pretty similar. But it's nice and shallow, and it allows this cutting edge right at the end and along down the sides, allows that cutting edge to drill into the metal. All right? This is a spade bit. This definitely would not work on metal. This is a woodworking drill bit. There are spade bits for metal. Usually they have a tungsten, a hard carbide insert at the end. And even that, the angle will be less aggressive, more similar to one of these angles. All right. What else? I think that's it. This is a 2-fluted bit. They also make 3 flutes or 4-fluted bits. Those are just used for general different operations. When you're drilling into just a normal piece of work, like a piece of sheet metal, which is what I'm going to do now, a 2-flute drill bit is the standard, and it works well. I'm just putting this piece of wood down because I don't want to damage my table. Okay, I want to drill a hole right around there. I can make a little punch. That gives me a place to start, right? Where is it? It is hard to see on camera, but there is a little divot right there. Remember, if you're drilling into a piece of metal, at first, where'd that bit go? If you don't give it a place to go, it's just going to skate around, and your hole might not be accurate. Also, if you're using a very thin bit, like this is a 1/16, it's much smaller. If it skates around too much, it can break. So I've got a hole there. I'm going to add a little bit of oil. That's going to act as cutting fluid. I want to make sure that it stays cool so that this stays sharp, right? I want that to be sharp. Normal hand drill. Put that right in the spot. Pressure down. You can see those chips right away. So those chips, if I were drilling into aluminum, or if it was a deeper drill compared to just sheet metal, those would travel up on the flute. Now you can see, drilled right through it. All right, so that's just simple drills. Remember, these only cut in one direction. If you look at this tip, it only cuts in the clockwise direction. In the counterclockwise, that sharp edge is in the back, so it doesn't work. So that's the first quick lesson on drills and drill bits. I'm going to go over the sizing of them tomorrow. There's a lot of different sizes, which you'll get to read in the book. All right? If you have any questions, email me, put them in the Google Classroom. We'll get through it. All right? Bye.